My name is Ethan Braniff. I'm 21 years old. I fight out of IFS Belfast and I am the Chiefer. Well, before I started MMA, I did a couple of big acting gigs, and unfortunately I lost my granda, my uncle, all in the same year, and just couldn't go on stage without taking an anxiety attack or in front of film. I got really nervous and just felt like I was going to faint all the time, and just got really scared of being in front of the camera. And then if I was drawing from previous memories, it would just send me over the edge, and that sort of made me want to do something else. And I just gave up and threw the hands up and was like, I can't do this anymore. And then when I got into MMA and started feeling better about myself and a bit more confidence came back, and then I decided that, you know what, I can finally get back into acting. So it sort of went full circle, and all thanks to MMA. My biggest inspiration would be my granda. It has to be. He's probably the strongest man I know. He battled cancer, and that's something that I've just always looked up to my granda. I still remember the first time that he said he was proud of me, and everything I do now, I just want to make him proud. So that is my motivation every time before I go into the ring. I've got a pocket watch my nanny had bought for me without my granda, so I always keep it, and before a fight I'll say a prayer to my granda and bless myself before I go into the ring, so I know that he's watching over me. And yeah, he motivates me, not just for MMA, but everything that I do. Certain people will say that, oh, the bigger man always has the advantage, but both the times I've been fighting, I've always been the smaller of the guy, especially weight-wise, and I've always came out on top. My first fight, I think the guy was a stone heavier than me, and there was a bit of confusion about the weight, and that's why I ended up fighting him at a stone heavier. And my coach was like, look, you don't have to do it, but at the end of the day, I've put in the effort to train. If my tools are sharp and everything that I have been training and drilling throughout the fight camp, if I've been putting in the hours of training, the size doesn't matter. As my granda used to say, it's not about the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog. It's all mind games, so it is. You have to be mentally strong, because even though I wasn't mentally strong going into MMA, I find that it helps build upon your mental strength. I don't have a scientific answer of how it does that, but for me anyway, and I know from talking to a lot of the people that I train with, that I'm not the only one that goes through like that sort of stuff. Everyone's got their demons, and everyone's got things that bring them down. And a lot of people who train in MMA all come from a similar background, and almost everyone that I've talked to anyway has struggled severely with mental health and stuff like that, and they find that it's a good outlet. My most memorable moment was probably getting my hand raised for the first time, my first ever fight. It was just such a good feeling. The adrenaline you get when you step into the ring for the first time. I thought it was going to be something similar to acting and walking out on the stage, but when you step in that ring and the cage gets closed, and it's just you and your opponent, there's nothing that feels anything similar to that. So there's not.